For all those who don't know us, we are PEP.
Good evening, fellas. Welcome to the 6th episode, PEP Fresh Start Live with Fee and Pat, where the motto is, stay ready to keep from getting ready. I'm Pat.
And I'm Fee.
All right. So today, fellas, we have a very interesting topic, something that's very near and dear to myself, and I think I say the same for Fee as well. We're going to talk about traveling.
Yes, traveling. That's that's how we escape when we're in there, right?
That's right.
I mean,
Books,
not literally
novels.
escape.
The mental. So, in thinking about the whole episode of traveling, when did you decide you wanted to travel?
I don't know. As soon as I get out, kind of getting used to the daily routine, and then I say I need to go do something. But all of those thoughts was like it came from all these magazines I was reading. What was your favorite magazine?
Rob Report.
Mine was Texas Monthly. So, the Texas Monthly always have the country pictures and flowers and all of these scenery in Texas. So every time I read through it, I say, man, I want to go there. I want to be there.
Yeah, I think looking at those yachts, I always wanted to be on water. But I remember when I came home, my first purchase was a passport, the land passport, because a group of us was supposed to go to Mexico and see Rudy.
Uh-huh.
And nobody got there except for me and Jay. And of course we didn't end up going, but yeah, that was pretty exciting. So thinking about the first time you traveled.
I think I traveled by car. Me and Max and one of our friends who drove from Houston all the way to California. And we want to take the scenic route, so we didn't take I-10. We drove all the way up to Colorado and cut through Utahs and Salt Lakes and Reno's and all of that, and get up to California. And it was a very good trip. After being in there for 5 years, and be able to take a trips and stop and enjoying the scenery, and but you know what? All of that, it's just the trip that really making me humble was the cruise.
Yeah.
It's at night when you in the balcony and you kind of looking out and just see that empty. And making you feel like you're just so small, you're so insignificant.
All around you see nothing but black water, or maybe the moon shining over here.
Yeah.
So peaceful. But I'm still kind of trying to process. You've been in the car with Max for 24 hours. that was a steep one. I mean, my first trip was to Atlanta with David Yeager, who got sick after eating in the airport. But the beautiful thing about that trip, one of our executive volunteers also lived in Atlanta, so he kind of picked me up and took me around. It was pretty cool.
Would you ever travel outside the country?
Yes, other than the cruise, I have been outside of the country. It was a trip that I will not soon forget, but I will also never do again. I made the mistake of going to Kingston, Jamaica. Not the tourist side, but somebody's relatives, and I've been to a lot of hoods in my life and have never had any ounce of fear, but that was the one time I felt like my life was in danger.
You should have brought Izzy with you.
No, I don't think Izzy was ready for those. Those were real Jamaicans. So, I was talking about a passport, and I know that you have a passport, and I think a lot of people don't understand the difference between passport and a visa.
Yeah, it's and there's a bunch of misconceptions about being when you're a felon or you're on paper. What do you need to be able to travel? So today's episode is about it. We're going to bring a guys who just got out not too long ago, was able to travel. So he would tell us a little bit more about it.
Okay.
But yeah, he'll going to tell you more about what the difference between a passport and a visas and what it needed. It it's actually easier than people think.
Right. I think the only people who have a problem getting passport now is if they owe child support.
Yeah, it got to be if you owe more than 2,600 or something like that, and then you won't get one.
Like I'm gonna leave the country and leave my kids behind. Thinking about passport. So if I have a passport, does that mean like I can go to every country? I can just go anywhere?
No, there are actually countries out there that don't allow felon to come in.
Wow. Which ones they are?
Um, you know how Australia started?
Yeah, I mean they kind of like dropped off the derelicts and the criminals and say y'all stay here and we going and chart America or something, right?
Yeah, I think that's what I heard. I never looked it up, but I heard I was like European dropped off the I guess the criminals in Australia, but now they don't allow felon to come in.
The hypocrisy in that.
So Australia, Canada, and China. So if you apply for the visa, and then if you say you're a felon, or they will ask you if you're a felon, and if you say you are, and then they won't approve a visa for you, which means you're not allowed to enter the country.
Wow, we keep letting Drake come back to America. That's interesting. But I'm pretty sure that there's ways around it. I don't suggest you find them, but yeah, it's
No, I have a friend that traveled to, we're on an Alaskan cruise, and when the cruise stopped at one of the port where Canada is at, he was able to get on there because he didn't need a visa for that. You can go into Canada and come back out in the same day. So no visa needed, and nobody asked him if he's a felon or not.
I think that's one of the things with the cruise ships that a lot of people don't know, that you don't need a passport because wherever you go, you still considered as being on American soil because you left from a American port. But the passport is like if you get hurt or injured or something and need to have an emergency flight back.
Yeah, that passport will allow you to come back inside America.
Yeah.
But I think if the case where you get hurt, in a foreign country when you travel on a cruise, you still can go back. It's just for those people who are not born in America or naturalized, and it's going to be a little bit difficult.
Okay. Any trips other than cruise plan this year?
Thinking about checking out South America, so flying down there to see how it is. It's in the airline is cheap, but I don't know if I can stand being on a plane with a mask on the whole time.
Yeah, that's kind of a deep one. South America is cool, but being a dark-skinned brother, I just don't want to fade all that heat right now. So I'm planning Aruba, November 21st. I'm planning Aruba. I'm hoping it works out. If the people who were supposed to go get their passport and take care of their vaccination, which is part of the requirements, but we'll update you all on that later.
All right. So you know what time it is? It's the weekly reconnaissance mission.
AKA PP blind date.
Well, this couple is pretty sweet because the initial is the M&M.
Chocolate and peanut.
So we got the blind date number one. It's Market, and he's a 13-year veteran. I think if you're in the PvP community, you all know who Market is. He's a father. He say he can fish, and he say he can play softball and volleyball also. He came from the Hamilton unit.
All right, and blind date number two is Mark, who has hit the revolving door quite a few times, but has been navigating almost 3 months.
All right, let's see what. Well, before you roll the tape, Edison's Market make a pretty long videos for us.
They know Marcus.
Yeah, so that typical Marcus. So what we do is we have the entire videos, and the link to it is in the description if you want to watch the whole videos. Or you can see the preview right here. If it interests you enough, just go down to the description and click on the link. So Edison, play the video.
Hey guys, this is Marcus Hill, PEP Class 6. That's single digits, Class 6. Sweet name is G, or Sweet GG, or Sugar Hill, whichever you want to call me. The way I own it is I get my little coffee cup out and I drop the sugar in. Bloop, bloop. Sugar Hill. All right. So I recently had the pleasure of having breakfast with a gentleman at the Covington House, Mark Mordecai. But I have to say, personally, Mark really restored my trust to a certain extent. You know, we always had a saying that what doesn't come out in the wash comes out in the rinse. So I think that just having guys around the culture and everything, I think that we can do a lot to help shape who they are and who they become and how they move forward. Mark, for instance, he has plans on starting a diesel mechanic service business. That's something that's been done before, something that I believe would be real lucrative for him. But he's already working in that field, and he's also, I think he got one other guy hired where he's working at. So just the fact that he's able to or willing to reach back, always shows me a lot about a person's character. And the fact that even though he wasn't able to acclimate to a lot of the PEP culture, the fact that he's doing those things on his own says that he's already living between the wings.
All righty, fellas. Remember, if you want to go and catch the rest of Marcus's interview, go and click the link in the description and check it out. You know Marcus. And also, fellas, don't forget, take advantage of your opportunity and reconnect, and maybe you will be the blessing for somebody else who's just navigating. So if you want to get involved with the Reconn Unit, reach out to Harvey. His contact is listed also in the description. You can contact myself, Fee. But let's build a Reconn.
All right. So our guest for today is he was pretty regular on the chat when we do the videos, all the way in Mexico.
All the
right.
way from Mexico.
So, it's happened. He's in the office today, and guest cancel. So bring him in. Just see what he had to share with us about traveling.
So without further ado, international travel, Mr. TJ. Come on in, Thomas.
All right.
How you doing, bro?
All right, man. How about yourself?
All right. Glad you could join us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
All right. Well, welcome back to the state. Well, what brought you back here?
I actually came back to get my work visa. So
Work
I can work
visa,
legally
okay.
in Mexico.
All right. So how long were you gone? I mean, not gone to Mexico, but how long were you in the gated community?
I had the privilege to stay inside the community for 15 years.
15 years. So what made you decided to travel? You got out.
Well, I mean, it was a natural desire to want to travel and see the world, but I had no idea what was in store for me when I got there.
Mm-hmm. And you're off paper, right?
Yes, I discharged.
Okay. Discharged. Okay. So it's making travel a little bit easier for you.
Yes, I don't have anything to compare it to. I've never done any traveling before, but yes, it's been very easy for me.
So you did a little local travel before you did international travel, because I watched you shoot across Houston to Louisiana and kind of get your feet up under you. So how were you prepared when it was time to go international? What documents did you need?
Well, it was real similar to my driver's license. I just got on the internet, researched it, and figured out what documents I need. There's a website, First Time Passport, and I researched on that. It's real simple, like 10-step instructions, and it tells you need birth certificate, ID. I think $144. It's real easy step-by-step instructions. It's a D11, I think, form that you download off the computer, and I filled that out. And next step is go to the post office. Find a post office, and this was during COVID era, so it gave me a list of post offices that provide this service, and I went there and filled out some documents, paid I think $144, and 45 days later I had a passport. And several people told me, "You can't get a passport, you're a felon." but I don't live by that principle.
Did they ask you were a felon when you applied for it?
Yes,
They did?
yes. From
Okay.
I'm 90% sure they did. It never came up in the interview. It wasn't
So what was the question that at the post office asked you?
no, it's just formality. It's where you live, where you going, what do you know, mom and dad's name. They want to make sure that you're who you claim to be. So there's a lot of verification. But for me, it was easier to get my passport than it was driver's license.
Yeah. I can see that.
What about your passport photo? Did you they took it at the post office, or you have to go?
They take a picture there, but one of the steps on the form is to go to CVS or Walgreens or something and take a little 2x2 inch
Okay.
photo. And you go in there and tell them, hey, I want a passport photo, and they know exactly what you want.
So how long does it take until you get your actual passport?
Like 45 days.
45 days?
When I went, the lady in the post office actually told me, she's like, look, it's backed up right now because of COVID, and it could be 3 to 6 months before you get it. And 45 days later, it showed up in the mail.
And how soon after that were you headed?
That we got on the phone that night and started planning a trip to Cabo. So 2 weeks later, we were flying out.
Cabo.
What would you plan to do in Kabul?
My best friend that I was living with, who's my roommate, he has a girlfriend. His girlfriend lives in Cabo. And he was going to spend Valentine's Day with her, and he was like, man, come on, you can go with me. You know, so I just went with him to just to experience it. I'd never left the country before.
Yeah. Did y'all have a good Valentine?
They did. I had an awesome Valentine.
So how did it feel when you first stepped on foreign soil?
It was, I mean, just flying in, man, just the whole, I was flying into a desert. You know what I mean? Flying over Mexico, and it's like something I see off the movies. You know what I mean? You're flying into Chapo's land or something, you know what I mean? Because all the streets are dirt, and, you know, it's just like, I know this is another country. You know what I mean? This ain't my neighborhood.
Would you recommend others travel?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I can recommend you travel to Cabo. Cabo is beautiful. It's San Jose del Cabo is what we call tranquilo. You know, it's
Peaceful?
relaxed, peaceful. Everybody's kind. There's actually a thing there called Mexico time.
What is that?
When somebody asks you to meet them somewhere, you have to say, "Is it Mexico time?" Because that means it really doesn't matter what time.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Okay.
if I tell you, hey, meet me at 3, Mexico time? Yeah, okay, well, I'll meet you about 3:30 because,
It's flexible.
yeah, nobody's in a rush there. It's not.
But I also heard that you stay in Kabul a little bit longer than you anticipated, huh? So what
Yes.
happened?
Well, I got there on the 13th, and the next morning, I got up and walked down to the beach, and after that, I went to church, to Cabo English Church, and man, the Spirit was just on me all day. And when I left Cabo Church, the Pastor Mike, he called me up front, and not me, but you know, anybody that wanted to come up front, I went up and he prayed with me, and man, I felt something strange there. You know what I mean? Like, man, this is where I need to be. And that night, I went and had dinner with a sculptor there in Cabo, and he was opening a new gallery. And he said that he had been praying and asking God to send him somebody to help him with a gallery. And this is real, real humbling for me, because after he heard about me from Nancy, he thought that he thinks I'm that guy that God sent to him. You know what I mean? So he gave me the opportunity to manage his art gallery, something I've never done before.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I mean, something that I would love to do. You know, it's in my passion. It's something that God gave me a passion for, but I never in a million years thought I would have the opportunity to do it.
Wow.
Never has it ever come up in a conversation that I had.
So went on vacation, ended up with a vocation.
Canceled my flight home.
Stayed over there a little while, as we spoke about earlier, a gringo illegal alien.
So what do you have to do to make it legal for you to stay there and work?
Okay, so there's several different options to get. You can get temporary residency, temporary work visa. And I learned this in the interview. There's 8 different work visas that you can apply for. So what I did, and there's several different ways to get your residency in Mexico. But the way I did it is I had a formal job offer, and this is the company in Mexico goes through the government there, writes you out a formal offer to work, and then in immigration they give you several different documents. I couldn't read all of them; they were in Spanish. I had people helping me with them, but so you get this offer to work. Then I have to set an appointment in the States somewhere with the Mexican consulate. And then here I have to come with my passport, the work offer, where I'm going to work, how much I'm going to get paid, who I'm going to work for, and it's just it's like an interview.
Okay. And then from there, you get a work visa.
Yes. I got
Okay.
So here's the passport.
You don't look like you smile on that picture.
Yeah, I think I picked that up in when I'm taking the ID picture in prison. There's no smiling.
You look like an angry terrorist, bro.
Right. So, and then here's the Mexican work visa.
Okay.
And what this does, it allows me to work over there legally, and
Okay.
I can get a bank account, pay taxes and all that.
Pretty cool. Good stuff. Good stuff.
So the passport is for you to get back in America, and then the visa is allow you to work in a foreign country or enter a foreign country.
Well, no, the passport will let me get in there, but this lets me work there.
Okay.
I'll be able to register, get an ID, get a bank account,
Mm-hmm.
and live there as a resident.
Oh, pretty cool. Next step is citizenship. Well, TJ, man, it's been great having you. I'm glad, man, you stopped through and hung out with us and kind of shared some information with everybody who's watching about traveling with a record. As we call this section, traveling without limits.
Amen.
It's a beautiful thing. So we're gonna segue into our next segment. You're welcome to hang out, or you're welcome to leave. But at this point, it's a section that we call PEP updates. So we kind of update on what's going on inside and out. As far as inside, we're back in now working on our second week of reestablishing the culture and kind of working out all of the kinks and getting in position so that we can start classes at the end of this month on both facilities.
So when did you left Cleveland?
November 20th of 2020.
2020. So when you left, how was the culture of PEPs inside like?
It was running a high temperature.
Okay.
And I mean, it was just because we were segregated, separated for so long, the culture that we had cultivated and, that y'all helped begin, it took a hard hit with the COVID pandemic.
So did you know that right now, actually, in both units, we have only one person in Cleveland that actually went through the entire program, only one left? And then at Estes, we have 4 left. So you can imagine, when we came back inside, so establishing the PEP way of doing things is like the highest priority.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say that because last week we went through the process of reestablishing accountability leaders and meetings and so forth. And we only lost 2 guys, but one of the guys' reason, and I thought it was kind of funny, but I was also reminded, there's been no culture. It's like, I'm not going to turn out every time PEP called me out. And I was like, he hadn't heard, stay ready, keep him getting ready. But, I mean, I'm kind of excited about, we got 40 guys coming to each unit who they've been exposed to PEP, but now they get to be immersed in PEP. So we're taking this time to really get the guys who are in there, making sure that they're fully dipped in where we're trying to go and they're headed in the right direction as far as their own lives. So it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, so we're going to start a class at the end of this month, both at Cleveland and at Estes. So it's only 40 guys, and that way we have more time to spend with each guy. And we don't want to spend, have a big class where, some kind of fell through the crack. And that way we can actually pay attention to whoever they struggle.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Very important.
So on the outside is we are ramping up for the barbed wire to business. This is when PEP business owner who want to get a loan, expand their business. This is one way to get in front of business people and pitch your idea, pitch the reason why you need this loan, and the loan is very low interest. So it's helping each other grow a business.
Yes, sir. I encourage you all, you business owners, whether big, small, short, or tall, get yourself in position to go out there and pitch. Before we go into the next segment, let's acknowledge who we have on with us. Reconn Fitness, of course. Donald Jones, thank you for joining us. Gerald Dooley, I saw you in the house. As usual, thank you guys for coming and hanging out. So it's that time of the day where we go to our...
Actually, we only going to quiz one person, and he's sitting right here.
All right, so those guys can't participate. So this is Starbucks quiz. It's for $5 Starbucks or $5 Cash App. Name 2 of PEP recruiters.
2 of the recruiters.
Yeah.
Marcus Hill,
Okay.
recruiter. Trying to be.
I do not own the right to the song.
It'll be
Who
Jeff
recruited
Humphrey?
you?
Who?
Max Hahn.
I
I got a postcard.
You know what? Actually, a lot of guys think Max is a recruiter because he's sending
email.
out
Yeah, he sent me the
J
email.
page,
Yeah.
but he's not a recruiter.
He's not the recruiter.
Who are they?
So,
I know Marcus used to be one.
yeah,
So-
Marcus.
So our very first official recruiter would be Mario,
Mario Soto.
and then we have Brent Taylor,
Yeah.
and then
Never even heard
who
of him.
else? I think that was it. Then Marcus,
then
right.
Marcus.
and then now
And
we
now
have
Robert.
Robert McCoy.
Oh, okay.
All right, fellas, y'all got that right. Mario, Brent, Marcus, Robert. All right, fellas. Again, for everybody who came on and joined us, who will watch this later, we appreciate you. Just ask you just keep coming back, keep participating, keep just providing a moment of your time to see what's going on. So, Fee, before we get out of here, you got any last words?
No, I think next week you're getting your second shot, right?
Yes, next week I get my second shot, but I guarantee you I'm going to be here, whether in person or virtually, I will be here.
Okay.
So, Thomas, one of the things we do is a weekly outro, because we're on a mission celebrating 1 million stories, and with you, we're one closer to that goal. So keep this in mind, fellas. Freedom demands responsibility, but responsibility demands accountability. Until we meet again, peace.
For all those who don't know us, we are PEP,